Top brass at the city's police department have been taking aim at their critics on social media recently. Over the weekend, one of the most heated exchanges stemmed from a column that had been written in the Daily News by Harry Siegel. That column published on Saturday afternoon. It was critical of the police department for touting a decline in crime between February and March, noting that this had come just days after a deadly train shooting and another train shoving incident. Criticism from the department poured in, members of the NYPD pointing to inaccuracies in Siegel's column. And at some points getting personal. The NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Kaz Daughtry, wrote on Twitter, saying in part, "We are the police and you are a gadfly who should consider revising their definition of madness to reading a Harry Siegel column expecting to get a useful takeaway." Other criticism for Siegel's article focused on the timing of it. It was published on the evening following the funeral for slain officer Jonathan Diller. The chief of patrol, John Chell, said on Twitter that it was time to call out Siegel and his latte friends on their garbage. There's been a lot of back and forth on this. I'm not going to get into a recap of all of it, but some elected officials say the NYPD has been going too far with these responses to criticism. With me in studio, the Chief of Patrol, John Chell, and the Deputy Commissioner of Public Information, Tarik Sheppard. This is not the first time that the NYPD has been frustrated with a reporter, but I know you want to take on some of these criticism and explain your philosophy on this. Why is it that this one got under your skin?
Well, we had a tragic murder of one of our young, best police officers in the city. It rocked the city. It rocked us. We were all mourning. And then if you go through the weekend of the funeral, on Friday you had a guest on a radio show, just, oh, it happens once in a while, and just push it to the side like it's no big deal. You had this article come out on Easter Sunday, the day after we buried one of our own. And it's not about being wrong factually with your numbers. We're all going to make mistakes. What was the intent behind this article? Mm-hmm. You want to talk about transit crime? You want to take a cheap shot at our chief of department? Then you give wrong information. Then you say the cops aren't in line. Like, what was the intent here? And you think this was the right, even though it was an op-ed piece or an opinion piece, it was still written and it was still published.
At another time it might have bothered you less? It was the timing was particularly troublesome?
Well Pat, the first thing is that we have a great relationship with a lot of reporters in the city. We help a lot of reporters on a daily basis from DCPI. I think you have to look at this individual's history of intentionally putting out wrong information. We do not believe it's by accident. We do not believe that he vets a lot of the things that he puts out, and it's very easy to do so. So the intent here was part of the reason why you saw the response from the department being so strong.
I do want to acknowledge that the Daily News editors, after this error was pointed out to them, did make a correction to the column, particularly on this one number that you took exception to, the number of deaths on the subway. But then after that happened, on the official NYPD Twitter account, there was a nickname given to Harry Siegel, Harry Deceitful Siegel. Was that a moment when you should have taken the high road and not waded further into this?
Possibly. I'm responsible for that, and possibly. But the same thing I said earlier, I look at the history of the columnists, and here, this seems like it's intentional. Mm-hmm. It seems like there is no desire to get it right. There's no desire to speak about this department in a fair way. And Harry Siegel has a history of doing this. And so that's why the nickname fit, and that's why I put it out.
As you look at this situation, I want you to tell me whether, is there an obligation on the part of the NYPD to be above the fray on this? I want to read you a line from the NYPD mission statement. It says that the NYPD must maintain a higher standard of integrity than is generally expected of others because so much is expected of us. Is getting down into a debate like this taking that higher standard of integrity?
We would rather not. But from our stance, our team stance, and my stance, this is all flies under the banner of really, you want to attack us, that's fine. Look at my Twitter account. Look at the comments against me. That's fine. That's fair game.
You mean as leadership?
Yeah, take a look. Take a look at those. But we're defending our young men and women, our cops who are defending this city. And yes, do we want to stay above that? Yes, we do. But sometimes some of the people we're talking to only understand that kind of language. Okay, we have an opinion, we have a platform, and sometimes we're going to give it out. Sometimes we're going to be really professional and strategic, and sometimes talking to people like that, they only understand that language.
But what if it sends a message that not everybody is equal, that the department has this responsibility to serve? Let me give you an analogy. You go to the airport. The TSA agent doesn't get to decide whether you're obnoxious, whether they like you, whether they don't like you. Their job in that moment is to check to see if your bag is okay and let you into the airport. When you start to decide who the NYPD is favorable toward and which journalists they don't like, does that send the wrong message to your officers?
No, not at all, because I don't think that's what we're doing. I think we have to look at this in totality. This is represents a very small amount of tweeting or posting that we actually do.
But it does seem like a strategy the last few days.
No, I wouldn't say that's a strategy. What we have to do is monitor social media to take a look at the information that's put out there. This is the way people receive their news, their information, especially younger people. And our reputation is very important. And so most of our interactions online do not get into this sort of contentious battle between people. We're usually very professional and welcome conversations about crime, and whether that's an academic or a very cordial setting. But there are times in which we have to decide if it's important enough for us to sort of step it up a notch because of who we're dealing with. And we really don't decide what reporters we like or don't like. On a daily basis, DCPI is open for all the members of the press to reach out to us, get the information that they need, and we assist no matter whether we personally like you or not. It doesn't matter.
Has there been coordination with City Hall on these social media posts? Has the mayor been involved?
I don't think when you talk about coordination, obviously the mayor sits over top of every city in the agency. And
does this strategy have his blessing, this pushback? I
think the mayor, it's interesting. When a while back, I remember the mayor being criticized for not letting the NYPD speak enough. And now that the NYPD is speaking, now all of a sudden the mayor's allowing us to do too much. Which mayor are they talking about?
Yeah, well, he did back you up yesterday.
He said we have an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone offers their opinion towards us.
Yeah.
We're not a punching bag. And now this punching bag has arms. So we're going to respond accordingly. But we have opinions, and we're human beings also.
Right, but the mayor is a political figure. He was elected. The mayor can get into opinions. I might argue that the police commissioner is a political appointee. I wonder, though, how far down in the department that goes. There's, to some extent, there are others in the department who are there to serve, not to make political points.
Yeah, and that's why I think we hold our comments to crime, and I think we hold our comments to respond to people talking about the police department and the work that our cops do. That's something that we have to take serious because we are talking about a perception issue in this city. And in order for us to change perception, we have to enter the space of social media as well.
I don't want to spend the whole time talking about back and forth on Twitter. Can we spend a couple of minutes here actually getting into the substance of some of what the NYPD is doing? This debate back and forth about how many people are being assigned to subway duty, whether there is a reduction in crime. Chief Chell, where do you feel you're at? Are New Yorkers feeling over-policed, as some suggested last week in that radio interview?
No, I think if we're talking about transit, let's just take a moment to go back and look at the work that's been done. I believe in January, transit crime was up around 48%, large number, right? And with the surge of police officers that the mayor, our police commissioner, the help from Governor Hochul, what we've managed to do numerically is, as of Sunday night, crime is down in transit. Okay, those are numbers. And we have a mandate to reduce crime. Chief Kemper, our team, we have a mandate to reduce crime. Now, the other part, the perception. Over-policing, we drove the trains last week. We were on the train the other night till about 12:30 with the mayor. And when you talk to the strap hangers, they want to see us out there. They want to feel safe. That's the true measure. They want to feel safe. And in the part three of this, as the mayor said yesterday, as our police commissioner has been discussing with the team, how can we do better with the homeless? How can we do better with mentally ill? We're doing a lot of good things, but we always have to look inward. How can we make it better? If we attack those three, we're probably not having this kind of conversation.
I asked Harry Siegel to comment on all of this back and forth. Here's what he told me. He said it's a shame the NYPD seems more interested in name-calling and cheap intimidation efforts over its official channels than in addressing the problems underground that my column detailed.
Yeah, I'm sure he was thinking about that when he was typing out Chief Marjorie and his past, why he's talking about transit crime. He should look inward and don't be a hypocrite about this.
But Pat, I also, just to address the substance there, right? If we're talking about transit crime, if he's writing a fair article, let's talk about the hard work of the men and women at NYPD who stepped in. When this mayor stepped in, we stepped in, like John Chell said, over 40% up in crime. Here we are today, numerically down in crime, but also battling the perception issue. We were out there on those trains at 1 o'clock in the morning. People were asking not for less police. People on those trains asking myself, Chief Chell, the mayor, Deputy Commissioner Daughtry, for more police. They want to see more down in the subway. So his article, while colorful, still is inaccurate. He got the number of murders wrong down there, but he also does not understand that transit crime is not where it was 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and as we sit now, it's down in crime. That does not mean we won't have some high-profile incidents in transit. This is a city where we have over 4 million riders a day. Okay, we'll take an incident here or there. Every victim matters, but the work being done in transit is making the largest system in the country safe.
The differences of opinion will continue, but we appreciate the time that you've taken to come in and explain your side of this story. Thank you. We'll continue this conversation.
Sure.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
We'll take a break and come back with some of our top stories as we continue with the Wednesday edition.